when you were here a few weeks ago, and to fill people in, I guess, Mark came and did a talk and a seminar at our gym, and it was phenomenal. And one of the things that one of the practices we did, one of the games that we did was writing things out, writing things down a lot.
Yeah.
And you made a small comment that really resonated with me a lot, because people that listen to the podcast, and certainly Patrick knows that I've journaled very methodically and very disciplined for upwards of a decade. Mm-hmm. And I did a gratitude practice daily for a very long time. And I did it because the research says it's so powerful, and I have yet to feel any benefit from it. And one of the things that popped up was you said, no shorthand, no bullet points, write in full sentences. So for the last month or so, whenever you were here, I started to do that, and it's different. It changed. I used to write. One of the things I write 3 bullets every day. What do I appreciate? What's my daily intention? And what am I excited about? Those 3 things, and I would go and then I would journal about my thoughts, amongst other things. But I would go and I would write down health of my kids. But I would only write down health of my kids. And since you were here, now I write, I appreciate that my kids are healthy. And even me just saying those words out loud like that, when I say health of my kids, nothing happens. When I say out loud, I appreciate that my kids are healthy, like right now I can feel it. I can feel it. Can you share a little bit of the Enlifted methodology in terms of that aspect of what you lean into?
Happy to. And then we'll add another thing in that works wonders. If you want to 100x the power of your gratitude practice or affirmations, because they're very similar. So we'll speak directly to the difference between bullet points and shorthand and conversational writing. So, and I only understand so much of the stuff that we do. A lot of it is, it's over my head. And you know what? I don't need to understand it. I don't need to understand how to build a truck in order to get in that truck and drive 8,000 miles. Okay. And so like a lot of the metaphysics of this stuff is just, anyway, I don't make the rules, everybody. And what we have noticed for a very long time is that a bullet-pointed gratitude journal or gratitude practice is a net negative for one reason, the outcome, which very rarely is there any. And when people, kudos to you, Ben, for having that Bethlehem steel work ethic to, even though you're not feeling it, you keep doing it. That's cool.
It'll pay off someday. It'll pay off someday. So side tangent. I took a personality test. Someone was like, you got to read the 4 tendencies.
Okay.
I took a personality test. I'm an upholder, which means if it's put in front of me, I go and do it. Just for the fact that I like organization, I like discipline. And it's one of the reasons it was so enlightening when I read that, because like, why doesn't everyone do this? It's like, it's the second most rare personality type. So I was like, now I understand a lot. I was talking to my wife, and she's like, yeah, no duh. I'm like, yeah, no one else does this stuff.
Yeah. That's, and a lot of people say that. They say that about their affirmation practice. They say, I like it. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of a gratitude practice. I like the idea of affirmations, but, and then you know what's coming, I just don't feel it. And then someone in Sedona holds up a crystal standing on a vortex, and they say, well, that's because you got to say it for 108 days until it sinks into your subconscious mind. No, people do not respond well to bullet points and half sentences when it comes to eliciting feelings and emotions. Historically, we have not told stories that way. So if you want to tell yourself a story, if you want to feel gratitude, tell yourself the full story of the gratitude, or at least tell it in full sentences. So write it out like you talk. Write it out like you would tell someone. Write like you would tell your daughter or son how grateful you are for them. Write it out in full sentences. Whatever the thing is that you're grateful for, Write it in full sentences, also known as conversational writing. That right there is hit majorly, historically, eternally. That's how we've used language. Okay, that's one thing. And then the second thing, and so most people's affirmations, they are in full sentences. Okay, that's better than half sentences or bullet points. And what you want to do is do the unthinkable, which is in between each affirmation, get a full inhale, take a full inhale, and then have a full exhale. So and then in between each sentence. And what that's going to do, 3 ways of saying the same thing, it's going to help socialize the idea, take it to heart, embody the concept. Because when someone's breath is trapped in the chest and they're having a gratitude practice or repeating their affirmations, the breath is trapped in the chest. It's just this mental exercise. Things are improving for me. I'm making a lot of progress. I'm very supported. Everybody likes me. My back squat's coming along. I'm really dedicated to my macros. And it's this thing that just, yeah, you hear the words, but you don't feel it. Mm-hmm. If you want to feel the gratitude, everybody, and this is something you can do this. Don't take my word on it. Just try it out and watch what happens. Write out 10 things that you're grateful for, full sentences, 1 thing per sentence, and then read them. Read the first one, get a breath in there, let all the air out. And then the next one, get a breath in there and let all the air out. And then keep going. Sentence breathing. And it's going to light you up. You're going to feel it. And you don't need 108 days to get to what people want from their affirmation practice, which is 1, to feel it, and 2, for it to be matter of fact or have that sense of certainty about the idea. So once and it takes roughly about 7 days, 6 to 7 days, when you combine better words plus better breathing. And once you get to matter of fact, seeds planted, walk away. And then to go back to this is very common. I noticed this. So I've been doing this one thing 17 years, everybody, staring at words. I noted this phenomenon before I figured out how to remediate it. I'd be in workshops and stuff, and people would say, name 3 things you're grateful for. And some guy would raise their hand and say, my family, my friends, and my health. And you could just see it on his face. There was no energy there. He didn't feel any of that. And then half the time they'd go, well, I don't feel that. And then they'd say something along the lines of, does that make me a bad person? And I know what they're thinking in their head. I should feel gratitude for those things, but I don't, and because I'm a piece of shit. So it can be a net negative. If you don't get the feeling payoff of the writing practice, then you're going to think something's wrong with you. And a lot of times there's nothing wrong with you. It's the structure of the storytelling needs some adjustment. And that adjustment is going to come down to better words, better breathing, and then usually rate of speech. Those 3 things, those are the most 3 powerful levers when it comes to improving someone's mindset. How fast is the story going? Most people have no idea that they can control the rate of the story. Very important. Or that they can improve the words. They totally can. A lot easier to do once you get it on paper. And then, my breath is involved and somewhat responsible, or a lot responsible, for the quality of the story that I tell myself. Yeah, majorly. You can't, good luck separating those things, words and breath. So yeah, Ben, great job picking up on that. And that's a big deal. That's a very big deal.